When you are an alienated child, there are lifelong effects that last long into adulthood as a result of the emotional and psychological abuse of parental alienation. Hey, this is Ryan Thomas, and I want to give you really a firsthand account of the experiences that I had both as a child and then what that did to me into my young adulthood and into my adulthood now. I am 45 years old at the time of this recording, and I will tell you that parental alienation and what was done to me and what I experienced absolutely changed and influenced my life view, my worldview, my view of myself and those around me. Now, there's nothing new to that, right? The idea that your childhood shapes who you are is something that we all deal with. Whether you're alienated or not, it begins to shape you. Those positive and negative experiences turn you into who you are. But it's also really insidious when those negative changes, when those limiting beliefs, when those harmful self-beliefs about who you are and the relationship that you have with your very own parent is harmed and created by someone who you trust, someone who you rely on, which is your very own parent. When your parent does something like that to you out of their own selfishness, not outwardly to hurt you, but because of their own insecurities, because of their own need and desire to have possessive love, to have control over someone else, to be so afraid of a child splitting their love between two parents, and that any time a child loves someone else or gives attention to someone else other than them, that is a threat. That is a threat that has to be destroyed and ruined. That relationship has to be ruined. That opinion of that parent has to be ruined. The reputation has to be tarnished. All of those things, when you live in that world and you're brought up in that world, that has a profound effect on you. And those profound effects show up in some really interesting and awful ways as you grow into adulthood. Now, this is all to say that these things don't have to be permanent. You can change. Anything is possible if you recognize, I don't want this belief. I don't want this behavior. This was something that was given to me. I inherited it. I was forced to assume these beliefs and these experiences, and I no longer want them and I reject them. You can change. But the fact that the parent did that to you and what those lasting effects are, which is what I want to share with you, is really important to recognize that there is a betrayal in there. There is an abuse in there because it came through, especially with alienation, the idea of isolation. Everybody else is bad. The other parent is bad. It's only, you can only rely on me. You can only trust me. You're the only one that I'm the only one that loves you, and I'm the only one that you can love. When everything is so isolating, and that all of those words and that supposed care is coming from that parent, and that's what you're spoon feeding your child, poisonous, hurtful beliefs, that is the ultimate betrayal of everything. So how does this stuff that happened in childhood and being an alienated child, how does it manifest into adulthood? Well, let me give you an example. One of the things that really showed up for me was that I could never feel safe and secure around my dad. There was always a lot of chaos and drama and stress around visiting my dad. When it was my dad's time to take me for the weekend and spend time at his home, there was always the thought that someone's going to break into the house. You're not safe there. Somebody's going to come in through the windows. Make sure all of the doors are locked. They would tell me, my mom and the rest of the regime would tell me, oh, I'm so sorry you have to go with your dad this weekend because we just heard on the news that there's a killer on the loose. And he might look into your window. Oh, we're just so sad and sorry that you have to go. And so my little brain and emotions were on overdrive. I mean, I was sick to my stomach all of the time. I could never feel safe. So when I would go to my dad's, in addition to not feeling like I could trust him or be safe around him because he's supposed to be the enemy. He's the bad guy. He's not the good guy. Well, then there's no comfort there. There is nothing that he can say or do to me that calms me because he's not supposed to be a calming figure. Mom is the calming figure. My grandparents and my aunt, those are the ones that I can rely on. So no matter what happens, if I am scared in a house, he is not somebody that I can truly go to. And then when you make the very home a part of the story, a character of this negative story, that there's something wrong with the house or it's not safe, that creates such a longing for safety, for security, for stability. And once again, I'm in an environment that I am 100% scared and afraid and anxious, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to express myself. And then I go, and I'm here with somebody who's no help to me, who's no solace to me, who can't take care of me because I've been told my dad doesn't care about me, he doesn't love me, he's only a sperm donor in my case, and it can be the reverse if alienation is switched and it's a mom doing it to a dad or a dad doing it to a mom. But all these negative things, he doesn't care about me. Well, how am I supposed to go to him? So how does that manifest in my life using this one example? And there are many examples, unfortunately, but this lack of being able to trust those around you, to have the lack of security and stability, creates the environment as a child. As you start growing up, you're weary of everything. You're weary of going outside of your own home, outside of your own bubble, because you can't trust anybody. You can't depend on anybody. The only thing that you can depend on, back to that isolation, is mom and the regime. So when I would go and have sleepovers, it was always terrible. I hated sleepovers, except for one friend that I had. I didn't like going to sleepovers because it was the unknown. I was afraid. I was scared, and I couldn't find ways to feel comforted. Even as I was growing up, we used to have a friend that lived out of state. This is when I was out of college and working. And we would go to their house and I would be nervous. I would be afraid. I would have to go and check the doors, check the locks, check the windows. And, you know, like anything in life, you make it into a big joke. And when I got married, my best man, who was his home that I would do this, he gave a speech. And at the speech, he said, you know that when you have Ryan over to your house, he's going to triple check the doors and locks. And we all laughed, and it was funny because it was true. It was absolutely true. But think about that. Being an adult, afraid of the boogeyman, afraid of somebody breaking in, afraid of somebody coming into your home. It was about the home, but it was not about the home. It was about, I couldn't find a sense of safety. I couldn't find my own sense of stability. And so any time in life, at times over the course of years, when something that I couldn't plan on, something that I couldn't control, something that was out of my reach, or I was in a foreign environment, all of those old emotions started coming through. So it wasn't always about triple checking the doors and the locks, but it was a manifestation. That was a physical manifestation of the emotional and inner turmoil that I was feeling that really was kind of spread its tentacles into so many pieces of my life. Now, as I always say, you're not destined to be like this forever. I recognized I don't want to live like this. I don't want to do this. So I got help. I worked with therapists. I worked with coaches on a variety of different things to improve myself. And I'm not perfect, and no one is, but I've come a long way in doing that. But that is just one example of the things that manifest from that early childhood experience of feeling that lack of safety and stability and something that you can depend on. And then now you can imagine, and I can do other videos about this, but now you imagine every different aspect. Well, where does your confidence come from? It could come from that alienated parent. Those who give can taketh away. Oh, all of your confidence? Boom, gone. all of your safety and stability. The only place you're safe is if you're with us, or with us physically, or you're doing what we say, you're doing and thinking the things that we want. But the minute that you go against that, the minute you say, no, here's my own thoughts, here's my own opinion, boom, your safety and stability goes, because they're out. So any of the things that we as humans need and crave for our own well-being, if that can be so severely affected by an alienating parent, and that continues to go on and on and on, these are the challenges that I faced, still face, have my own demons, have my own things that happen that I'm still working through, but also imagining your own children. What are they being deprived of? What is it that they're given that could be taken away by the alienator? This is, and what is that going to manifest in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, into adulthood? Then how does that show up in their own marriage and their own relationships when they begin to have a family and children of their own? It is so important that you recognize this is not right. This does not have to be this way. This is wrong. These are implanted beliefs, and you can change it. That is so important. So that's why I always talk about, yes, you want to save the relationship with your child, but this is also about rescuing your child from alienation. Going in there and saying, I have to do everything I possibly can, because the end results, the lifelong trauma in all these different ways, is so powerful, is so dangerous, that I have to do everything that I possibly can. So I wanted to share that with you. And it's just one example. And so what I'd love to know is, in the comments, let me know, what do you think is that one thing that's being done to your child right now that could manifest, right? What are they not getting that you recognize, oh man, Ryan, just like you said, they're not feeling safe, so they're probably not going to feel safe in relationships, in trying new things. What is that for you? If you really have to start thinking about it and internalizing it, I'd love to hear that in the comments. Thanks for watching. So appreciate it. I'm Ryan Thomas, and I'll see you on another video. Hey, it's Ryan Thomas. Thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and it also helps to spread the word. Be sure to watch other videos from this channel, and also check below this video for other resources and links to help.